Hey y'all, it's March the 6th, 2017. I wanted to talk to y'all today. About the danger involved in doing the kinds of things that I do that y'all might be doing out there as well. The danger involved in taking in on a daily basis all these current events, which are shocking and appalling most days. Taking in all these current events the way that we do. First of all, people tend to look at us and they'll call us whatever kind of names, conspiracy theorists and whatnot, for keeping up with current events in the news and stuff. And there's a lot of them, and there's new ones every day. There is, in fact, a danger in that you could wow out and you could become completely absorbed with all these current events and just be bouncing around like a pinball machine, trying to hear all these different events, trying to keep up with it. There is danger in that. There's danger in that. And the danger is that you can really miss the point. You can get very confused and very flustered and stop, breaking things down in a simple way, all right, and getting to the bottom of things. It's very possible to do, considering the media system that we've had in place for a while now, all right, just giving you story after story. They're touching upon the stories and then going to the next story. This is what we've been given on the television and the internet up until now. But now we've gotten to a point where our news can be given to us by individuals, all right, who can take the time out to dive further into these stories, because we're going to have to understand that all of these crazy, absurd stories that we hear on the news, on the internet, and some actually still watch television, all these stories have context. They sound quite absurd. They sound quite heinous. And they all have context. And when we study this context in depth, we get to the real nitty-gritty. We get really to the bottom of things. We start to learn lessons, because that is the problem with the news as we absorb it. You hear a little bit of a certain news story, you say, oh man, that guy sounds guilty as hell, just heinously guilty, and these people sound guilty as well. All right, you pass judgment while you're reading the news about these people, and you say, oh man, these people deserve justice all over them. They really do. And lots of times these people will not be getting justice all over them, and it makes you angry. It makes you go, God, like, I can't believe that these people are not getting justice all over them. And it will get you in a depressed state, and it will get you to, really being, feeling very flustered by the situation. All right. That is dangerous, because here's the thing. Every last one of these stories, like I said, has context, and we all know that. And if we just dive into, if we say, hey, look, no, I'm not getting off this story. I'm going to dive into it, and I'm going to continue to do research and detect on what's been going on. What was the context? What was the lead up to these crazy stories? All right, I'm going to share them on the internet, all the details. For anybody who is kind of curious, they'll find out every last detail about what led up to this crazy, absurd story. All right, and it's important that we do that now. We're in a whole new age of news sharing, information sharing, and it's important that we do that. It's important that some of us take the time and research for other people, and then they have the information now. We give it to them. Not only can we learn lessons from our research, but we can go ahead and share with other people, and other people can learn lessons about life. and how to avoid all the calamity that's going on all around us, all on the news. Alright? So that all being said, alright, I want to introduce you to a story that I caught on the internet. A lot of y'all probably vaguely remember the story of Caitlin Nicole. I don't know if they called her Davis or Rogers. Caitlin Nicole. The story of Caitlin Nicole, which was a blip in the news cycle, right? Which absolutely is a story that has mad context that is not going to be covered by your so-called news, right? Caitlin Nicole. And there are people out here who, on the internet, on YouTube, who've been doing their research, and I've looked at a lot of their videos, and you know what I'm saying, they are part of this new movement of information sharing, getting way down to the nitty gritty, and we're learning about how our problems come about, how these absurdities come about, and we're turning the other way. We're turning more towards the truth and the light. All right, but anyways, Caitlin Nicole, she wound up taking her own life on the internet. That went viral. She live streamed it. So on the internet permanent now. It does not matter who wants it off the internet. It stays on the internet permanently. It went viral. Her suicide on the internet. All right. You do as much research as I've done, and there's more people who've done way more research on the subject. You'll come to find out this. Caitlin Nicole, allegedly, according to her, she was sexually assaulted by her stepfather, which is honestly something that happens, is not exactly rare, right? But not only stepfathers, but actual fathers be doing it, and just grown, disgusting old men or women, grown adults be doing this kind of stuff, all right? So she was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. She didn't have her father in her life. Her father didn't even live that far away, but he just didn't care or something. I mean, he was not in her life at all, all right? And according to Kelly Nicole. And, you know what I'm saying, she wound up being very depressed by the fact that she was sexually assaulted, specifically because her mother did not believe her, all right? You come to find out through Caitlin Nicole's videos in which she was live streaming on the internet that after she was sexually assaulted by her stepfather, her mother did not believe her. Yet again, another situation that is all too common. That's just something that happens, dude. It's happened to a great many people where they get sexually assaulted by one parent or another, and then the other one just doesn't believe them. Right? And so she gets all depressed. She winds up trying to commit suicide herself because here's the thing. She got no justice, right? She did the right thing, this Caitlin Nicole. She did the right thing by telling on this old, perverted, disgusting old man. All right? And she got no justice, all right? And so therefore, apparently she needed therapy. And I guess that was her consolation prize, was that her mother threw her in therapy. And, you know, after being in therapy for a while, you know, I guess for some reason or another, certain agencies came knocking on Tammy's door and saying, hey, look, we've heard weird things and stuff. What's this all about? And then at this point, apparently, is when Tammy Rogers and Anthony Rogers went ahead and split up. All right, it was at this point when that happened. And Caitlin was just made to live in a house, you know, taking care of her younger siblings while her mother ran all around town, chopping up and snorting up pills and cohabitating with all sort of men. All right, so you know, Caitlin, she went ahead and she goes ahead and tries to commit suicide. Does not work. She takes all these pills, her mother's pills, by the way, like 100 of them. I mean, her mother is getting pills. Someone's giving her pills. All right. Took 100 of them. Almost died. They found her. They pumped her stomach up at the hospital. She did not die. All right. But that is an extreme cry for help. That's not good. I mean, she really wanted to end her life. And we're talking about a 12-year-old girl. Did not work. She was made again to live in this house after the suicide. And they gave her pills to pop. She was popping pills, All right, she tried to kill herself by popping pills, and the prescription was, here, pop some more pills. They gave her more pills to pop. This little girl. You know what I'm saying? And this is all clear through the live stream videos. This is all made clear. All right, so they gave her these pills to pop these pills. All right, on the insert, in the commercial, they'll tell you, hey, dude, it might make you think about committing suicide and other homicidal, maybe, like, just, it's going to make you murderous. All right, this is either coming on or getting off of these pills. There's side effects in both occasions. All right, so that's what it says. All right, so of course, Caitlin Nicole, who just tried to commit suicide, was put on pills that'll tell you, hey, this probably make you commit suicide. She was put on those pills, all right, in order to make her happy. They're called antidepressants. Made her real happy. Thing is, she wound up trying to commit suicide and actually being successful later on, just a few months later. December the 30th, 2016, hung herself from a tree. Right. And there's other factors that go into this. I mean, let's just be brief in the fact that her father was removed from her life, and then her stepfather went ahead and sexually molested her. This is a young girl who's desperate for a male's attention, just in the way that every young girl is. All right. Could not get her from her father, got disgusting sexual attention from her stepfather, and then, you know, she's still reaching out for attention because she's all alone. People are not believing her when she said she'd been raped. All right, she's in a very lonely state, so she reaches out on the internet. She creates that channel, of course, that nobody's going to see really, because there's too many kids out here and they all got channels. Right, so she's talking about, you know, her suicidal tendencies and the fact that she gets real depressed. She's trying to help people with their depression. She's singing songs and doing what she can to not be depressed. All right, and then she winds up going ahead and committing the suicide. And there's other parties involved in this. You know, she actually had an older boyfriend. I mean, you're talking about a 12-year-old girl. She had at least a 19-year-old boyfriend. Out of state, on the internet or something, like an out of state relationship, right? And it's disgusting to find out that this 19-year-old boy, at least 19 plus, went ahead and did weird sexual things at Caitlin. All right, there's all sorts of sexual trauma being directed at Caitlin. All right, masturbating live on the internet in front of her and pretending like, oh, she just caught you and stuff. You're in front of a camera. You wanted to see her her to see you masturbating on the internet, and that's what you done. And you wanted to probably see her masturbate on the internet. This is a 12-year-old girl. This is sexual trauma that's being placed on her. Mad sexual trauma. All right, so there's another guilty party. And then you have people on the internet who, you know, they can chat while you're on your face streaming and stuff. And so, you know, there's people on the internet who are egging her on and kind of coercing her into her suicide. When she's finally feeling just too desperate and too hopeless to continue on her situation. This is a 12-year-old girl put into that situation. She went ahead, she did it, hung herself. And you know, I've seen the video, many people have seen the video. It's not ever going to be taken down from the internet at all. And you got to understand that Caitlin knew this when she did it, that it was never ever going to be taken down from the internet. And you have to imagine that she wants a lesson to be learned. She was putting it out there for some sort of reason. It's not like she's going to enjoy the spoils of it. She's dead and gone now. But she's putting it out there for people to actually learn. It's not to be like, oh, that's a news, but oh, that sounds crazy. Oh, now it's on to the next news item. That's not what this is about. This little girl put herself out in such a vulnerable way, in such a way that a lot of us are too scared to do. Put herself out there in order to teach people lessons to learn. Lesson number one that I learned, and you may agree, is our Justice Department ain't going to get justice. All right? They might get Anthony Lee Rogers, maybe, if they can get enough evidence. Put him under the jail for all I care. They might get him, but the thing is, you know, justice is gonna be had either way. That's what you gotta understand. All right. In this life or the next, God will have justice. That's the whole thing of it. He's going to have justice. It's inevitable for all these people, to include her mother, to include her disgusting pervert boyfriend, to include the people egging her on into her suicide. Justice is going to be had on all these people by God. But that's the problem. God, I'm going to break it down. God, it makes him happy when we deliver the justice, when we as people administer the justice. I mean, it's not as though God is lazy, like he just doesn't want to do it no more and he wants us to do it, but it makes him happy when we deliver the justice. We haven't. This is why the country's all got all so many problems as it does, because we have not administered the justice at all. All right, we're waiting on him to do it, and he's gonna do it, but it would make him happier if we done it. All right, so we can see that our justice system obviously is not going to find hardly anybody guilty in this situation, and they're not going to deliver the justice. That's a lesson to be learned. That's something that is wrong right now, needs to be fixed. Our justice needs to be fixed. It actually needs to be had. All right. That's lesson number 1. But in the meantime, we got a lesson number 2. We got lesson number 2, which I think is more important, because it's, in the interim, this is what we're going to have to do. Anybody who's concerned about this, you see a little child like this and say, oh man, that little child, that didn't deserve that. These people are monsters. These people are terrible. And I can't believe they took such a precious life away from everybody. I mean, this little girl was going to grow up to be somebody's wife, somebody's mother and stuff. And we took that away. It's like, dude, it's gone now. She's gone. And we're looking at these people and we're seeing that they're not going to get justice had upon them necessarily. And it makes us angry sometimes. Sometimes, you know, people like you and me, we get steamed. We say, oh man, I can't believe it. I can't believe it that these people aren't going to get justice all over them publicly for what they done, for what they contributed to. I can't believe it. Gets us angry. But see, there's no solutions in anger anyways. You know what I mean? It's like, anger will get you nowhere and stuff. These stories are making people angry like you and me. We're getting angry by it. We're seeing all these guilty parties, and we're saying, oh my God, look at the abominable things that they're doing. And we get very angry because they don't get justice on them. But you know what? You know what we can do? Is understand where this all started. This is a very complex story, and more details are going to come out on this channel and in other channels about this particular story. All right, but at the same time, it could be very, very simple. And what I mean to say by that is this: you got to see what's the origins of this whole story. Where did this all begin? If this was a movie about the story of Caitlin Nicole, where would it begin at? I believe that you'll find that it began at sexual deviancy. It was rife in sexual deviancy all throughout the story. Alright, let me explain. Her parents, her biological parents, they were not married. And I know a lot of people are going to get all defensive about this, and a lot of people are all living out their lives and they don't want to be judged or whatever. Alright? But let's note this. Her parents were not married. It would be safe to assume that they were not trying to have a baby, but they did have a baby. Right? Because they were having sexually deviant relations outside of marriage. That's how you make the baby. They made a baby. So that's sexual deviancy number 1. And it's a beautiful baby. Babies are all perfect and stuff. This baby was born perfect just like all the rest. Right? But brought into a world where her father is not around. Why? Because sexual deviancy took over. Right? Grabbed people, made them do these sexual acts, and those are abominations. And it's hard to hear that, because here's the thing: I've done that sort of thing before. Most of y'all done that sort of thing before as well. And I know it sounds harsh, but okay, she was brought up in a world without her father around, all right? For whatever reason, probably her mother got on welfare. I mean, stop me when I'm wrong and stuff, and I know it sounds offensive, but probably because her mother done got on welfare and did something else, and she didn't agree with her father, and whatever else, they split up. All right, so Caitlyn didn't have that father figure. A few years down the road, she does have this stepfather, and he winds up sexually molesting her. He's a damn pervert. Right. And her boyfriend's making these disgusting live stream videos of him masturbating, all right? And just weird, disgusting. There's all sort of sexual deviancy going on around this girl. She's being absolutely attacked by sexual deviancy. You gotta understand that. You start to see that the enemy of this girl is not her stepfather. The enemy of this girl is not her disgusting boyfriend. The enemy of this girl is not her just running around all around town mother. Her enemy is not her biological father, who seemed to not give a damn. Right? Her enemy is not none of these things. Her enemy is sexual deviancy, and all those who participate in it is her enemy, and that's what wound up taking her life. That she couldn't take it anymore. And this is a girl, I mean, you watch her videos and you think to yourself, I wish she would not dress that way. She is not, first of all, nobody should be dressing that way, but she is absolutely not old enough to be dressing that way. All right, you recognize that she does not know up from down when it comes to sexual deviancy and what is to be expected, like what her body's purpose is. She's not being taught any of these things. And it wound up attacking her at every angle until she could not take it anymore. You understand? And now, someone's going to have to go without a wife. Someone's going to have to go without a mother. Someone's going to have to go without being born, because this little girl, was forced to take her life. Sexual deviancy done it. Sexual deviancy done it. And that's harsh to hear. Sexual correctness would be a man, a lady, and they make a baby. They're married, and that's it. There is no other way around it. I'm out here just like most of us other, what you would call Christians, and we're not here trying to stop people from being sexual deviants. We understand that they're going to do that. They're going to do what they do. All right. You know what I'm saying? I've done it in the past a lot of times, right? And I never benefited from it one time, except for when I made a baby. It is that simple. It is all disgusting otherwise. In any other situation at all, it is disgusting. And it's unacceptable. Right? And it's just a harsh truth that, we're all going to need some time to wrap our heads around. We all want to go out there and be free with our bodies and stuff like that. Little do we know that we're actually raping ourselves, and we're teaching the children to rape themselves. And all sort of destruction takes place after that. Alright? There's a lot of people out here who'd be extremely upset by listening to the story of Caitlin Nicole, and they'll cry out against child abuse and child neglect and sexual abuse, and God bless them for that. But at the same time, there's a lot of these people who practice sexual deviancy in their lifestyle, and they don't understand the close relation it has with child abuse. That it basically is the same thing. And that is a tough pill to swallow, I know. It's March the 6th, though, 2017, and I'll keep y'all updated, on this story as it develops. I'll holler at y'all.